Today, I'm going to share with you the secret to changing yourself, to transforming yourself in a way where you can literally become a magnet to what it is that you desire. Right now, you have certain things that you want in your life, but you are a literal repellent to them. For some reason, those opportunities are not opening up, those relationships are not clicking, and those chances are not happening. Now, there's a specific reason behind this, and the quick idea behind this is that reality is a mirror and it's reflecting who you are. And for some reason, the character that you're playing right now is rejecting the things that your mind desires. And today, by the end of this training, you're going to know exactly how to change the inner character so that way reality will reflect it and you start attracting the opportunities, you start getting the relationships, you start seeing the opportunities, you start to actually make the changes you want. Now, if you like this training, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's dive into the whiteboard. So, how do I start becoming a magnetic to the things that I want in my life? First and foremost, you ever, an example, you ever see a friend, a colleague, a person, a boss, and it seems like they just attract the best life ever. Like everyone that you see around them, they automatically give them respect. They seem to always have great luck, a great positive outlook on things. The relationships, they always attract them. It's like they talk about them, then they end up going and accomplishing them over and over and over again. Relationships are never hard for them. They always attract the right and the best people. And they seem to have a connection with every person they run into. And you're sitting here wondering, how the heck do they do it? Why am I so closed off? Why do things never work out the way I want? Why am I always sitting in my mind wondering and wanting, but nothing is actually changing? Is it even possible for me to become like them? Absolutely is. Absolutely is. The idea is that you attract similar to what you already are. The second idea is that your mind can literally attract specific things. I'm going to break down both of them for you today deeply on how this actually works. So, first and foremost, if you want to become a magnet to things that you want, first of all, let's dissect how do we get the things that we want? How does that actually work? So, let's say here's the thing that you want. Okay. Here's the thing that you want. Now, these are all kind of the ways that you're going to actually get the literal thing. Number one is being in the right place at the right time, right? So the right environment. The more you hang around the barbershop, the more likely you're going to get your hair cut. Number two is the right focus, right? You need to be focused on the exact thing you want because if you're not focused on it, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss the opportunity. You're not going to see the opportunity. You're not going to be able to keep focused on it. If you don't focus on it, you don't get it. Next is action. You must take action. You must have the conversation. You must walk to the place. You must act upon the thing. You must do the work to get the thing that you want. Next is you have to have a certain level of skills or at least the ability to develop the skills, right? The better you are at something, the better you are at something. So the skills definitely needed. And lastly is time and consistency, right? You need to be able to stay consistent. You need to give it time for that thing to come into fruition. What if I told you that there is something that plays a role in every single one of these pieces? There is something that is the root. There is the root to all of these pieces here. Now, what is that something? What is that something? What is it that allows us to be in the right environment? What naturally pushes us, motivates us to go and be in the right environment, even if it's uncomfortable? What naturally influences our focus in life? What naturally influences our actions in life? And what naturally influences the skills that we get better at in life, the things that we're passionate about and that we're willing to stay consistent with? There is one thing, and that is your belief system. And this is going to become the main core piece to being the magnet of what you're attracting into your life is your core belief systems. But there's so much more to this piece. Here's what I mean. So you have your goal over here, the thing you want in the belief system. How does this play a role? How does this actually work here? So we know that action is needed. We know that focus is needed to accomplish the results that we want, right? We know that we need to be in the right environment. We know that we need the right skills. Okay. We know that we need the right overall mindset, we'll say. Where does this all come from? Well, how this works is that your belief systems create the thoughts and emotions that you have, which form identity, and naturally actions come from your identity. Same thing with your focus. Your focus comes from your identity, or you could say your belief systems. Okay, what you focus on is influenced by who you believe you are, what you believe is already true. Identity is who you believe you are. Skills come from identity. Your natural motivations come from your identity. If you believe you are a certain way, you are motivated to act in that certain way. And overall mindset as well. For example, if you're confident because you believe you're confident. So overall mindset as well. So the key piece to this is our core belief systems because belief systems, what they do is whatever I believe to be true, my brain must follow that as instructions in reality. It goes to the point where my brain will filter out 99.999% of the information that does not align with my core belief systems, and it will just simply filter in and search for evidence to reconfirm what I already believe to be true. And that's how it influences the positions that we're in, the places that we're in, because my core belief system influences the thoughts that I'm having about myself, about life, about where I should go, what I should do, how I overall feel, which my natural motivation, which also influences overall my actions, my behaviors, my decisions. And that usually typically creates the results. So, an example, if I'm somebody who believes I'm confident, that's going to influence everything how I dress, how I approach to people, how I talk, the things that I work on, the skills that I develop over time that make overall who I am stronger and stronger, my sense of self. And then I'm going to go out in public and people are going to see this confident character that I created, and that's going to magnetize that. That's going to they're going to see that, they're going to be attracted to that. Everyone likes a confident person, right? It's almost like a magnet itself. So I'm going to experience that personal reality. Then if I was, for example, not confident, right? If that was my beliefs and I'm not confident, that's going to influence my posture, how I dress, how I approach people, the decisions I make, if I approach people or not, how I talk to people, if who I talk to, what I end up doing, the skills that I develop or don't develop. It's going to influence all those key areas. And then that's going to be the reality that I'm experiencing. People are going to see me and experience me as that low confident person. But guess what? It's all coming from me, my core belief systems. I'm in charge of it all. I can decide, I can create a confident character, I can create a not confident character. Same thing when it becomes a magnetic person. We're going to talk about soon what it means to actually be magnetic. But the first key point I want to get across here is this is literally how the brain works, how reality works. Reality itself is neutral. Everything is all just happening. Your personal experience in reality really comes down to your perspective, how you're perceiving everything, and even how you perceive things, like your perspective and the meaning that you give to all the random things that are happening, and how you define things and the stories that you make up about the things happening in your life. It all comes down to your belief systems. So, your belief systems are literally shaping, creating your personal experience in reality in real time. So if you're someone right now who's stuck and it's like, I never get a good relationship, I never can find the right person, nobody ever wants to talk to me, I have no confidence. I used to be that way. When I was in about grade six or grade seven, I became very, very insecure. And it was at this point where I was really hitting puberty and a lot of changes were happening. And I became very, very insecure and I became very closed off, which was not like me. I was a very extroverted, outgoing person, very, very confident. And it switched up. I closed off. I became very insecure, not so confident. I kind of put on a mask to be confident. And that ran my life for some years, all the way into late high school. And I was playing this character, this mask. And I think this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this work is because I've gone through this stuff before. I was playing a character I didn't want to be. I was insecure. I didn't like how I felt or looked. I was always stuck in my head, overthinking everything. And that was the character I played until I finally first stumbled upon the law of attraction. And the law of attraction led to habits and how the mind works and belief system works and spirituality and studying all that stuff, and got me to where I'm at right now, to the point where I understand how it all actually works, that you can genuinely transform yourself. You're not stuck as the character you're playing. You're the author who thinks they're the character. Okay, you're the author who thinks they're the story that's happening in the book. That's kind of how your reality plays out. And that's how like the identity structure and the ego structure works, is that you need some sort of sense of self, and the sense of self needs to be reconfirmed in reality. So you're always hyper focused on finding evidence and reconfirming that core identity over and over again. But you might have a core identity right now, a core belief system that's very disempowering, right? That's like, I'm ugly, I'm no good, I'm not good enough, I'm not confident. You know, the world is evil. People hate me. People are always nasty and mean. All of these are disempowering belief systems, and you're going to find that in your personal reality over and over and over again. Mind you, reality does have that. There is going to be people out there that are going to reflect to you back that experience. Reality is a mirror. You have to smile, then the mirror smiles back. So if you're frowning, the mirror is going to frown. So you have these belief systems, and you're finding yourselves in these situations and these experiences that are reflecting that to you over and over and over again. And that's your personal experience. And the hardest part in this is that we get so caught up in that personal experience that we forget that we can change the personal experience. We forget that this is just how the game of reality works. It doesn't mean that this is the full truth and the forever truth. It just means that this is a personal experience that you're experiencing, but you can change it, because there is also the other better person out there, the more confident person out there. There is a person who's treating you way better. There is a potential reality where you have the best relationship ever. Like there's all these other potentials, but you're just not focused in on them right now, because this is your personal experience, because this is your personal belief systems. And that's the hardest part people got to get across their minds, is understanding that, is that it's not fixed, it's not stuck, and this character that you're playing can change. Simply just ask yourself, if you're having a hard time believing this, who would I be if I never had any past? If all the programming in your mind was stripped away from you about suffering, poverty, people, how people treat people, how you've been treated, your past history, the things that happened to you, if none of that existed and you showed up right here, right now, how would you want to think and feel about yourself if you could just decide, if you could just choose the rules of the game? What would you want to do from this point on? Would you be wearing a mask or not? Would you be worried about what other people think or not? Would you think that people are evil or not? No, you're just here in the moment. You'd be experiencing everything for how it is, and you'd be choosing and picking the best programming to help you live the best personal experience. Just like playing a video game. You're stuck at character level one, and character level one right now is not that good. You know, they don't have the attributes, the skills to make it to level 10. So you go in the game and you level up, you get the HP or the XP, and you level up your character, and you develop the strength and the stamina and the skill set. And that way you level up. And as you level up, you fight new bosses, new levels of success, we'll say, new relationships, new accomplishments, and you can handle it. And it's like you're a magnet to it. You're attracting those new levels because you as a character are leveling up your skill set. Same thing in life. Why stay stuck at level one character? Right now, you might not be happy with the experience happening in your life. Let's not stay stuck there then. Let's change. Let's transform. Let's become magnetic. Now, mind you, as a magnet, as being a magnet, there's things that you will attract and repel. So right now, if you're not attracting the things that you want in your life, that's a clear hint that the character we're playing must be changed. Or we just need to give it more time. So that's kind of how the whole idea works when it comes to the mind. Now, the next thing I want to raise here though is, let's talk about the idea of frequency. Okay, let's talk about the idea of frequency. Now, we know that every single thing in life is energy. Strip every single thing away. What is one thing that we all are and have is energy. And I even would like to say that's inside that, or within that, is consciousness. But we have energy. And in energy, every single thing vibrates. Every single thing vibrates. And single thing is set to a certain tuned frequency. And what we know is that like attracts like attracts like. So the whole idea is that whatever frequency that you're set to, that you're tuned to, that is the personal experience that you're having. Okay, so this is the frequency, and this is whatever I'm dialed into, and this is the reality experience. Okay, this is really how we're going to become a magnet. So here's the dial. Okay, here's the dial, channel 101. And let's say this is channel 100, and we tuned radio to be 100. Okay, so let's say you have a radio dial and you turn the dial to channel 100. Now you're tapping into that frequency of 100. So on the TV, right, there is a bunch of different channels that you could be watching, all happening here and now at once. But you can't see them, you can't listen to them, you can't hear them because you're tapped into channel 100. You're watching 100. So that's what the frequency is attracting. That's what you're tuned into. That means that 101, though, is still there, but you literally cannot see it, experience it because you're not tapped and tuned into it. So now let's say that channel 101 is zero confidence. Okay. And then this one is confidence, is 100 is confidence, right? There is a channel, there's a frequency that you could be tapped into where you have zero confidence, and that is your personal reality experience. That's the situations you're finding yourself in, the meaning that you're giving around, for example, if you're tapped in that frequency, if your belief systems make up that's who you are, somebody could walk by you on the street with a neutral face, and you would give that story, that meaning of that event, the event, you would give the meaning of that event of, I'm not confident. Look, they think I'm ugly. People just always look at me so badly. Why am I like this? When they're just walking by and it means nothing. But we make a whole reality experience, we make a whole story out of that that affects everything moving forwards because we're tapped into that frequency. So that's the whole idea behind frequency, is that we're tapped into a certain frequency. There's all these other frequencies all around us. And if we want a better personal reality experience, if we want to attract a better life, become a better magnet, we need to change our personal frequency. Now, the question becomes, how do you change a frequency? Right? How do we change frequency? Well, frequency, here's how this works. Okay? When you look at like how the belief system works, the mind, how we take action, our natural motivations, it all connects. So your frequency would be made up of two things. Number one, your emotional state, your most dominant emotional state, and your most dominant emotional state, the reason why is because that is literally the magnetic field that you put out into your reality. Your heart, you have a certain magnetic field that goes outside of you, and that is from your heart, and it's 5,000 times more stronger than your thoughts. So you already have a natural kind of magnetic field, this energy that you're kind of putting out into the world, this state, this flow, this overall feeling. And then you have your thoughts, and that's more so like the direction of where you're pointing this magnetic energy at. Your thoughts are the electrical charge. So your thoughts are the direction, okay? It's the steering wheel to the car, and your most down emotional state is the engine that's going to drive you there. So what does that mean is that your frequency is your most down emotional state and thoughts, which connect to identity, your overall state of being. Okay, when I say state, frequency, identity, mash that into the same thing. Because identity is created through thought and emotion, consistent thought and emotion. As I think and feel, I start to become. So identity is created through thought and emotion. Neurons that will fire together will start to wire together. Okay, so that's identity. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you want to attract a better reality experience, if you want to become a magnet to the things that you want, you need to align your identity with it. You need to align your identity with it. And that's the key. That's the biggest key. So let's keep moving on here. So if that's the case, what makes a magnetic identity? When it comes to people, what makes a magnetic identity? Well, I don't know if you can see down here, but I got this red heart on this side and the green heart on that side. Here's what makes a magnetic identity. And this is just common sense. right? If you just think about what makes a person magnetic and super attractive, someone we want to be around, right? There's a couple things here. Number one, they're secure. Two, confident. Three, not attached. They're connected. Four, abundant, non-judgmental, and they're loving. You know what all this connects to? Authentic and natural. The person who is most authentic and natural in their own self is the most attractive magnetic person for the best people. Because remember, when I say you're becoming a magnetic identity, it doesn't mean you're going to attract everyone and everything. You're actually going to repel people. You're going to repel things, opportunities, events, but they're just not in alignment with you, anyways. They're not what you want. So if you find yourself constantly attracting the things that you don't want in your life, this is going to help you make that shift, that switch. We're going to start to repel the things that you don't want and attract the things that you do want. But when you look at somebody who's actually magnetic, one of the biggest ways to sum it up is that they're authentic and natural. What that means is that they're connected to all things. They don't come from a lack. They don't come from attachment, a need. They're good in their own. They're secure in their own self-image and who they are and where they are and how they are. They're just being themselves. They're confident, they're secure, they need nothing. Therefore, they attract everything. Right? The person who is not attached, who is just comfortable and confident in their own, who's connected, who is present, who is open, they're not judging you. They're just here, there with you. They're loving, unconditional. That's a person you want to be around all the time. All the time. They make you feel so good. They make you feel comfortable. They make you feel safe. That's a person you want to be around all the time. But what about the opposite? What about the opposite? Most of us are insecure. Okay? Most of us are not confident. Most of us are attached. Most of us wear a mask and are not fully ourselves. Most of us feel lack and scarcity. Most of us do judge. And mind you, I judge naturally too. I try not to, and I correct myself when I do, but I think it's just a part of the human mind to naturally try to fit things in the boxes. But the most important thing is realizing that, recognizing it, and stopping it. And lastly is conditional. So this is no one's fault, by the way. This is just how it is. Most of us are programmed this way. But this is a lot of how we are is on the red side, and that's why we're not being magnetic. Because somebody who is insecure, they do not feel secure. They feel this need to prove themselves, put themselves out there, speak up over people, do things that are toxic, not really interesting, not magnetic, right? It doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make you want to be around them. Someone who's not confident doesn't really make you so excited to be around them. If they're always worried and anxious, it almost becomes a little bit repelling. Someone who is attached, right? I need this. I need you. It almost becomes a little uncomfortable. It's like, this is too heavy, right? I need space, not that. And oftentimes you might find yourself with someone else who's attached, and then you become in a toxic relationship because none of you want to be there, but none of you want to leave. Next is you put on this mask in society, you wear this mask, and people know you're wearing a mask. They can see through it, they can feel it, they can smell it. You know, we have years, thousands of years of evolution, and just reading people. Lack and scarcity, right? Who do you know comes from abundance? Not many people. Most of us come from lack and scarcity. There's never enough. I never have enough. I same thing like even with partners, not even just money, right? Like there's not enough people. I'm going to be lonely for the rest of my life. It's never going to work out. I'm never going to find a partner. That's not attractive. That's not magnetic. Someone who's abundant, who's like I have all the opportunities and options in the world. That's magnetic. That's a magnetic identity. Judgment. Someone who's always judging people. It's not really attractive. It's automatically like, oh, so this is what you do behind my back as well, right? Literally spilling out negativity. Conditional love, not so magnetic. When you only get love when you do certain things, that's control. That's not really that magnetic. And here's the thing is that this is something that I don't even need to explain to you because you know it and you feel it. You can resonate with what I'm saying. When somebody is this way, it is somebody that we want to be around. We want to pour our heart out into. We can trust. We can let our guard down. We can be there with them. They're magnetic. They make you feel so good. Here's the thing is that remember what I said, everything is a reflection within of yourself. It goes for other people as well. So when you tune yourself to the best proper state, people see themselves inside you. They see, as in they see themselves in you. They see their best parts in you. They see their best parts that they want to be and they want to keep attracting and becoming in you, and therefore they become magnetic to you. But the ones who are insecure, stuck in their own ways, not confident, you become a threat and an alert. They don't like it. They literally become repelled to it. They become repelled from it. But the ones that you do want in your life, the ones that you do want in your life will be a magnet towards it. They'll run towards it, I promise you, when you just do your part and focus on this state. So now the question then becomes, how do I get to this state? Well, here's the thing is that it's not about becoming, it's about unbecoming. Because your natural authentic self was who you are when you were a baby. You were in the present moment experiencing everything for how it was. You just loved, you're following your excitement, your passion, your joys. You weren't all stuck up in your head, overthinking, living in the future or the past, right? You didn't have all these insecurities and worries. So the key is that you got to get back to this part here, the authentic natural self. And that comes down to the idea of this comes down to the idea of the mask we wear in life. And I have a whole nother training on that. But remembering that it's the belief system that has created this mask. It is the past programming that has formed this belief system. And then here's the real you. The real you is the observer, the experiencer of it all. So it's like, okay, I'm going to wear this mask. This mask is the mask of someone who's not confident. This mask has the emotional state of someone who is scared and insecure. This mask has the lack and scarcity mindset. It's all belief systems. Okay, it's all belief systems that have eventually become consistent emotions, consistent thoughts, and actual personality and actual identity, actual behaviors and actions that's come from it. It's just the program that's been playing out. So after this training today, the work that you're going to have is this work here. It's the inner work. It's changing it's first of all getting back to this person, realizing that you are not this mask. It's realizing that you are this observer behind it all. And it's to catch yourself when you play in the mask. It's to catch yourself in that moment. And every time you catch yourself in that moment being who you don't want to be, it gives you opportunity to then become who you want to be. And then you just have to see, why am I being someone I don't want to be? It's all because of a belief system. It's all because of a belief system. And I just made an entire training on exactly how that works and how to change your belief systems. If you want to watch that, it's in my other trainings down below. And once you can change the belief systems that you have that have been causing you to repel the things that you want. So, for example, if you want a loving relationship, but right now you're stuck in a constant state, an emotional state, because think of it, what emotional state do I need to be in if I already had the thing that I want, right? Let me show you that for example. Okay, so here's the goal. So let's say the end goal is I have a relationship. Okay, how does that make me feel? Plus think. That's the identity. Okay, that is the frequency. So what I put down here is let's say the end goal that you want is a relationship. You want to attract an amazing relationship. You want to be you want to be a magnet to the things that you want in your life, to the relationships that you want in your life. So ask yourself, how does he or she think and feel as if the relationship is already done? Because now you're being in that exact state, right? So you think and feel, you step into that state, you do a meditation, a visualization, whatever it may be, and you step in that state. And what you're doing is you're activating this new identity now. And then that is the new frequency. Then the goal is to then act off this state. Get into alignment with that state, act off that state. Because what you're doing is, okay, so if you want the new result, right? If you want, this is the thing that you're trying to magnetize into your life, the end goal. But this has a new frequency, right? And your current beliefs are causing you to be in a frequency that is not in alignment. So your current beliefs has a certain set frequency from your old emotional and thought state, right? From your old identity that's causing you to get the same old results. So if you want new results, if you want the new end goal, you need to cut this out. You can't be in the same frequency and attracting the same things over and over and over again. And this is where the ego is going to jump in and try to protect this self over and over and over again. Because the ego is protector of identity. So what you want to do is, okay, I need to adopt the end state now. I need to start thinking and feeling and stepping into the identity, the frequency of the being that I want to be now. Because as I think and feel and act in that way, I will then start to become it. And that's exactly how it works. If you want to build confidence, it's like you be a confident person now. You start adopting the posture. You start doing things that confident people do. If you're uncomfortable to talk to that person, you talk to that person, even though it's uncomfortable, because you're reinforcing and building that new identity in real time. And then as you continue to do that, as you continue to think and feel and change your belief systems, you start to change your overall dominant emotional state, your frequency. You start to attract better opportunities. You start to think and feel and make decisions and act towards the thing that you want. And in time, as you do your part and you focus on your part, because one thing that most people struggle with when it comes to being a magnet to what they want is that they're too caught up in focusing on how they don't have it. I want a relationship, but I don't have a relationship. I'm so lonely. I'm so stuck. I'm so scared. Nothing is working out for me. I see why. Because it's what you've been attracting. Okay? If a dog poops on the ground in the park and there's a bunch of flowers and you go to the park and all you see is the dog poop and you go home and you tell everybody the park is full of dog poop, right? That's your own personal reality. There's going to be everyone else who's like, "What are you talking about? There's a bunch of flowers." Like, yeah, there might be a tiny bit. Why are you focusing on that the whole time? Why are you looking at that? There's so many flowers. Did you even see the birds? Right? They're experiencing the park completely differently because they're tuned in. Their frequency is different. Their focus is different than your focus. So we shift to that state. We do our part. We trust in the process, and what you want is not running away from you. So you will start to run towards it, and you will start to attract it. That's one thing to remember. The things that you want are not necessarily running away from you. As soon as you put yourself in alignment with it, in alignment as in you put yourself in the right beliefs, right identity, the right thoughts, the right feelings, the right actions, you cannot help but get it. And it might not be the specific thing you want, it might be even better, but you will get something around that same frequency, that same tune. Okay, the feeling. You'll get more of that feeling. So the last thing I'll leave you off with is like I work with a lot of very high level and high performers and entrepreneurs. One thing they struggle with is this inner deep insecurity, inner deep limiting belief of it's never enough or my worth comes outside of me. And they go and build these huge businesses and make a ton of money and they still feel the same way. And it's because that's what they're a magnet to. They're attracting that into their lives. That's what they're tuned into. Their state is tuned into. Their beliefs created or shaped their most dominant emotional state, their thought process to be that way. And all their behaviors, decisions, and actions have came from that. And that's why they keep getting the same result. So no accomplishment will ever give them and fill or fill that hole inside until we change within and then the external changes without. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the training for today. And then again, if you want to go deeper, there's more trainings on my YouTube that you can absolutely feel free to dive into. Make sure you subscribe though for more. And also, if you want to apply for one-to-one help, you can apply for one-to-one help below to work with me one-to-one to truly level up, to break down your old identity that is stopping you from your next level of success, to unlock more revenue in your business, to level up your character, to play a better life role. If you're a high performer, entrepreneur, that is for you. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and I'll see you next time.